Hey guys, welcome back to Testing with Destined. Today we have the brand new summoner, and I'm just gonna start it off, be very frank with you guys. This might be the best summoner in the game. She is insanely good, and I want to go over her with you guys today, test her out, see where she's good, how she's good, and why you might need to pull for her or not pull for her. She's coming very soon, so is the brand new Lord Ezereth, which I have a video out already if you want to go check it out. His video is more on focusing on a little bit of a combo of the two because he's very reliant on her. She is going to have her video pretty much just about her. Okay, so you're not going to see Ezereth very often because she's more common. She will be pullable on blue summons. She's a summoner, like I said, and let's get into it. Very quickly though, if you guys enjoy the videos and you want to see more, the best way to support me is to like the video and subscribe. It's completely free and it helps out the channel a ton and lets me make more of these. But of course, no pressure. Anyways, Velise, what I'm gonna call her Velise because I find that easier. She's a cultist faction mage with 20 cost. She is AoE magic attack, ally buff, and summon. Now, if we go into the stats, she has a little bit over 10,000 HP, which is not terrible, but nothing really crazy. 4,222 attack is actually pretty good for a summoner of her type. I think this is pretty high. And then we have normal stats going down here. The attack speed is actually going to be 3.5 seconds, which is pretty damn long. And then we have pretty normal rage regens. Going into the kit, we have the talent. The hero and Serpentine Spirit inflicts 25%, second highest in the game, magic resistance reduction. And slow as well, 25% for 2 seconds on targets with their attack. Now, Serpentine Spirit is a lot of reading. There's a lot of reading in this kit. Sorry in advance, but it's easier to understand than you would think. The Serpentine Spirits attack enemies within 2 tiles from them, or in the Master's attack range, can attack 15 times initially, which each attack dealing 60% AoE damage to the target and up to 5 surrounding enemies. When attacks are exhausted, it stops attacking and becomes inactive, where it will naturally perish after 15 seconds. This is to set up Ezereth, which, if you didn't know, he eats summons. So after her summons no longer are useful, they actually stay around. So Ezereth can eat them, which is very, very cool. So keep that in mind, that is why that is part of the kit. If Ezereth is on the field, so they work together, Serpentine Spirit moves to his position when inactive. Up to 5 Serpentine Spirits can exist. So even if she is on the other side of the map, they will go to him after they are done dealing their attacks, which is very, very, very cool. Okay? Going to the basic attack, we have 120% AoE damage up to 5 enemy targets. The first passive targets hit by the Serpentine Spirits, aka the summons, subsequently take increasing damage from the Serpentine Spirits. So basically, the more you hit certain enemies, the more damage they will take. It increases damage by 6% each time up to 30%. So even though she's AoE and more for wave content, you're still going to get a lot of value for her for single target damage. So things like the Grotesque Fiend in GVG, she's actually going to do decent damage to it, which is very cool. Going to the second passive, when a Serpentine Spirit naturally perishes, it increases the caster's attack by 2% up to 30%. If Serpentine Spirit doesn't naturally perish, increases by 4% instead. So like I said, Ezereth, which is very important. These are 2 heroes you really want to have both of because they work very well together. When he eats them, she's going to scale her attack up to 30% very, very, very fast, which is going to be very good. So not only does it benefit him, it benefits her. Then we get to the ultimate, which is 700 cost, very cheap. Summons 3 of her summons, her Serpentine Spirits, in her attack range. They last permanently, okay? They stick on the field until they do 15 attacks. no matter what. Now, when they do 15 attacks, obviously they become inactive. They go over to Ezerith, or if you don't have them, they perish naturally, and they increase her attack. Or they get eaten, and they increase her attack by double. Okay? Now, these will support other attacking summoned units on the field after stopping attacks for 4 seconds. Okay? So, if they're a little bit AFK, if they're a little bit inactive, they'll go over and they'll help another summon. So this is really emphasizing summon-based comps. Not only does Ezerith do that, so does Velise, which is really cool. So the summoning comps are going to be absolutely meta. Now, going into the Awakenings, the A1 makes it so that the summons attack has a 10% chance of inflicting stun. This is going to be great for APOC, great for guild versus guild, great for quite a bit of content. Stunning is very nice, especially once again about the grotesque fiends. Very good awakening. The A2 has attack plus 300. A3 is going to be Serpentine Spirit, gains 2 extra attacks, gains 2 extra attacks when killing an enemy up to 1 time every 20 seconds. So it'll attack 17 times before perishing, and it gains 2 extra attacks when killing an enemy, so more or less will be 19 attacks per awakening. Then we get to the A4, which is going to be extra penetration, and the A5, where when the summon perishes naturally, it restores 10% HP to the master and gains 10% damage increase for 10 seconds. So if you use the Lord, like I keep on mentioning because they're great together, you're actually not really going to be able to get this damage increase unless it counts as naturally perishing, which it shouldn't. So keep that in mind, but okay, A5 there. I would recommend getting the A1 personally from what I'm seeing, but obviously that can change. Going to the build, we have Soulbound. I tried out to make the Soulbound gear absurdly good, and then we have Wicked Vengeance on the left, and I have a Tear of Twilight. Tear of Twilight is just the best thing to put on mages in general, unless they have an exclusive, which also increases attack. So what are we going to test her in? Well, we're going to test her in a lot of things I tested Ezerith in. Stuff like Arena, Guild versus Guild, Matrix, Gear Raid 1, things like that, and we'll see how it works. Now, I'm going to keep her mostly on her own. If you want to see more of a combo, you could watch the other guy, or I will maybe do a video specializing why they're so good together, but I'm going to try to see how good she is on her own. Let's get into it. The first thing I want to go into is Gear Raid 1. This is Gear Raid 124, and we're dealing with a very limited amount of units. So keep in mind that this isn't really going to be the full thing. As you can see, we got that Vierna range, and we're going to place her down as well as Beelzebub. Basically, the whole idea is an A5 Valara really strong compared to her? The reason why Valara is A5 is mostly because I don't want to level another one. I'll be completely honest there. So that is why it is like that. Anyways, what we can do here is we can trigger Beelzebub, and then we could trigger Velisse. And as you can see, we're going to be able to trigger the ultimate, send out 3 different guys. They will stay there if they don't end up attacking, but they will here. And they're just going to start chunking away. That's the whole idea. Now, how much damage does that do? I don't know yet. We're going to keep it going. So here we're going to click Valar ult as well. My timings will not be perfect. I'm not going to say that they're going to be perfect, but you know, timings are timings. We're going to click her ult again because her ultimate comes back very fast. We can put down our freaking Demi right there for a little bit of anti-heal as well. We can wait a little bit for more things to have an ultimate up. We can click that, we can click that, we can click Valara, and then we can click Velise right here. And you can just see she summons her minions, they go out, they deal damage, and the question is how much, right? Obviously, she also does basic attacks, which is good, and her ultimate comes back faster than Valara's. Valara's ult comes back really fast, but hers come back faster. And if you're using Ezerith, he's going to give her 10% rage for every summon he eats, which is 3 because she's designed to keep them out. So keep that in mind as well. She ults constantly. As you can see, we're beating this content. Maybe not fully. Maybe the end will kill us, but sure, you know, we got Awakenings and then we got a new hero in here. But this is still pretty impressive, especially considering there's no Malware calls on any piece, because I don't do it for test server, and we're just kind of doing a good job here. So here, I'm going to click Beelzebub. The timings don't have to be perfect. I'm not actually trying to beat this. I'm just trying to show how much damage is put out. We could click summons again, and then we could do our freaking Demi. I say freaking a lot right now. I don't know why. We're going to click our Element alt. We're going to put down our Wood alt. We can put down our Valara alt. Then, as soon as we get Beelzebub and Velise, we're going to be able to put them out and see how much damage. Now, Velise is probably going to die in a second because we don't have enough damage. And the second she dies, I'm going to immediately end the run. Just like that. And we're going to compare the amount of damage. So, my prediction is half of Valara A5, which would be insane because it's freaking Valara A5. And she does more than half. So obviously Demi is amazing for damage. Lots of people underrate Demi very heavily. We got Magda down there. Velisse doing good. Once again, she's supposed to be paired with the Lord. But even without the legendary Lord, she still does a ton of damage. And not only that, she also helps other units out a little bit because she has a little bit of ally buff. Valara A5, obviously really good. If it was A0, it would be even closer. Keep that in mind as well. Very, very impressive right there. Now, we gotta talk about Arena. She is really good in Arena. Now, the thing with summoners is they tend to spawn things that hit a little bit outside of their range. And that's exactly what she does, which is great. So she summons things and they kill things and they hit at a range. Here we're using Ezerith because not only does he give her rage when he eats them, but he also does some insane damage and hits them very far away from him. He is amazing. I think this is potentially a new meta in AoE Arena. I'm not 100% sure though. We got Airless for the rage regen and a little bit of support, Diao Chen for the damage increase, and then Cyrene to get things off the ground. Keep in mind, things are a bit easier on test server. It's just a reality. I'm not going to push up to Apex, which apparently is supposed to make it a little bit more difficult. So just keep that in mind going into this. But I don't think that's going to be a very big issue when you see some of the damage numbers. So here we're going to do Cyrene immediately. She's going to hit a couple times, gain a bit more rage, which is going to let her do her ult. We're going to place him down. He's immediately going to blast them with an AoE attack and is going to kill them. Then we're going to swap him to the next form to preserve his last special ability. All you got to know is he eats things. He has a special ability that does more damage. Check out his video if you want a bit more of an explanation. And then when they get close, we're able to do this. Now, I would have done it a bit sooner if they were over here, but I forgot. So that's why I didn't do it. But you should be trying to trigger him differently. Now, we're going to be able to kill these guys pretty easily. Right here, he's going to eat one, gain a stack, then we can swap them as they're walking forward, and bam! They all die. Then we're going to do Velisse, which is going to be right here, facing right, because she summons as most of her damage. We're going to do Diao Chen here, we're going to swap it, then we can swap his form there now that he's out of stacks, and we can click our Velisse alt as soon as possible. Right here. And what you're going to see is some tomfoolery is the best way I can describe it. Here, we spawn them all the way over here, and they kill it instantly, even before it walks. So, you think Ingrid and Valara is dumb? Well, this is just as dumb, okay? That's pretty damn sick right there. And the crazy thing is her ult comes back all the time. So, with the exception of maybe this wave, which it gets close, but they're kind of out of range, we're going to kill most things with her. Now, as you can see, we are going to swap him because hopefully he's going to eat the summons and end up, as you can see, they fly to him. He eats them, gets 4 stacks, which is great. The rest of them are still continuously attacking. We could swap him to start shredding through these things, trying to conserve a little bit of their attacks in order for them to deal with the final enemies, which is great. And usually they would kill it there, but I didn't do a great job of preserving. But you guys see the vision, right? You guys see the vision. This is insane. So here we're going to click the ultimate again. We can also click that in order to make it so that there's less strain on the summons. And, you know, if we need to top up, we can always top up and eat that. We can summon even more because he gave her range. Then we can swap as well and then send him out there to finish it off. But they already killed it. So it's kind of nuts right there. I mean, these things are just dying immediately. Obviously on global, when it is a little bit more difficult, it will be a little bit of a different story. But you get the idea, right? Constant ults, shredding through everything, killing them at the gate. It is crazy and really, really cool. So that is AoE. Mad impressive. They work very, very well together. But that's not the only AoE where I think she has a little bit of potential. Here's the damage numbers. She did a bit more because she gets first pickings, obviously. And yeah, there's a lot of potential there. Now, I'm not going to show it, but I think there's some potential in anti-air. As you know, the minions come out and then they take a while to start moving, and it's very hard to kill them. She can target them, but I think a lot of the mobs are resistant to magic, so I don't foresee it being the greatest, but I think she may potentially have a spot there if you really, really try. Now, the second last piece of content for us is going to be Matrix 1. I want to see how good she is without the Lord that works very well with her, because I know they work well together, but how well are they apart? So here we have this team. We have Magda, we have Valara, we have Beatrix, we have her, and we have Demi. Now she is replacing a Nora on this team, and we're going to see how it works. So here we're going to go in and we're going to just try our best, right? So what we're going to do is we need to figure out a partner for her. Now there's two things. It could be either be Valara or it could be Magda. I think I'm going to do Magda because I find Magda a bit more interesting. We all know Valara is good. Valara really is servicing as an example of the damage, okay? Next we could do Beatrix on the side, and then we could also do Demi with Valara. Why not? Stack the damage on the right so we get a little bit more room to look at Velisse on the right, okay? On the left is what I meant to say. Anyways, we're gonna click Beelzebub ult, we're gonna click Valara, we're gonna click her ult, and we're gonna see how much damage. Here you can see 100k hits each. They're going to shred, and they kill just as fast as Valara. The summons are still there, and they're going to deal more damage than Valara, or comparable amounts of damage to Valara. But her summons are already spent, so we do have to click Magda ult. So she's going to pair very well with Magda or Ezerith, because not only does Ezerith give rage, he also does a lot of the damage outside of his ult. But if you don't have him, Magda's going to be great because her ult lasts 30 seconds. So there's a lot of downtime in between ults. You could maybe even ult in between Magda's ult and get enough, you know, rage to get it back, right? That's a possibility. I don't think it will happen like that, but it is still a possibility. She does kind of shred though. So as you can see, we ult, everything instantly dies. She clears faster than Magda, but the main limitation for her is her summons do go away rather quickly. Okay, that is the main downside for her. I think even if you do not have the Lord, which obviously makes her even better, I think she's still well worth picking up and will still be incredibly powerful for you. As you can see, we can click her ult again, put out the summons, and she's going to help clear these enemies. And then when the main wave comes out, she'll probably be halfway back to her ult, if not more. As you can see, we clicked her ult at the start of that phase, and already she's at 80% rage regen. That is monstrous amounts of rage regen. She comes back very fast, okay? She's going to be very good for this. As you can see there, out DPSing Valara a little bit there. Just the one limitation is because her summons do go away after 15 hits, it doesn't make her perfect. I think she's a must pull for Matrix, to be honest. I think you can figure out a place to put her even without the Lord. Maybe if you have everything else, A5, maybe you won't see as much use, but you could just see, like, just shredding, doing really, really good damage. That rage is freaking amazing. Amazing. That's Matrix. The final thing I will be showing is a little bit of GVG, not a ton, but a little bit. Here's the team I have made. It's a bit of a weird map and a weird Velisse placement. She cannot reach, right? Her range only goes up to here, but she actually can. Now I'm going to explain that in a second, but otherwise you got Mord in there as a Lord and a bit of damage, since I'm trying to avoid using the new Lord if I can help it, because I mean I already showed him off in GVG, right? And then we have Neja just for a little bit of extra physical damage, and Kirby defense, aka Grotesque Fiends, which is exactly what I will be trying. So here we're gonna go in with this strategy. We're just gonna do a very normal Kirby attack as usual. This is gonna be the main thing I try because I mean swarms probably don't work very well against this team. Flying definitely doesn't work well against this team. This is the main way to beat teams nowadays. Now you may notice that already she is ulting, because she just ults if it's ready. She just lets it rip and she spawns her summon. And as you can see, they chill forever until they attack a certain amount of times. So they just stay there. So she doesn't need to be in range. Obviously her basic attacks do some damage, whatever. It's mostly her summons, and she is absolutely going to destroy it even with it out of her range. So on these maps with really, really weird placements, and it's really hard to get a platform unit in, she actually will be usable, which is super unique, super cool, and is really, really rare for GVG. That's where I think a lot of her usage is going to come. Okay, now, you know, cultist teams are not the most meta right now, but they're okay. And as you can see, Neja is going to do most of the single target damage. Obviously, we're not going to be doing a ton of single target with her, obviously. And when her summons are gone, she's not going to be doing a ton, but that's just a little bit of an example there. Now, without her summons, she's obviously going to be quite a bit weaker and not going to do as much. And the Kirby's going to go through. I don't think she's going to be great on her own, but potentially some teams where you need that extra range, you may actually get some cool stuff going with her. Okay? I don't think she'll be GVG meta on her own, but potentially her and the Lord might be pretty good. And I would say that if there's certain maps that are really hard and you need to place someone, but you can't place them where their range is covering, I think she might be decent there too. So what do I think about her? Well, as a standalone unit, she's pretty decent. She does good damage. I mean, half of A5 Valara is nothing to sneeze at. It's pretty damn good. I think she has a lot of usage potential in areas like Arena. I think she has a lot of usage in areas like Grade 1 and Matrix, even without the Lord. But once you get to the point where you have the Lord, she becomes a whole different beast. A whole different beast. She becomes incredibly strong because she's given rage, she's given extra stats, she's paired with him, she makes him stronger and him better. It's amazing. I mean, they are a match made in heaven. So if you can somehow pull the Legendary Lord as well, which I know is pretty hard, her value goes up a lot. But even without that, I think she's still one of the best summoners in the game, one of the better cultists in the game, and I think she's pretty damn good. Is she a must pull? Yes, if you get the Lord. 100%. If you get the Lord, you have to pull for her. Or if you pull her, you should pull for the Lord. But if you don't have the Lord and you don't think you're going to pull it, I think she's just a pretty good unit to have. That is my takeaway from this. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Destined signing out.